Picture this. You're walking through a parking lot, just a totally normal day, and then you trip, you fall, and you break your leg. It's awful. It's painful. It needs surgery. But it's pretty much the textbook definition of an accident, right? Well, let's dive into that, because what seems super obvious might not be so simple when insurance companies get involved. To you, to me, to pretty much anyone you ask, the answer is a huge resounding yes. I mean, of course it is. But for an insurance company, that simple fall could be the beginning of a legal maze that leaves a family with absolutely nothing. This is the story of Selena Anderson. And honestly, it's a critical lesson for every single one of us. So let me introduce you to Selena Anderson. She was a federal employee, and she did everything you're supposed to do. She had a life insurance policy through the Federal Employees Group Life Insurance Program, FEGLI, and this wasn't just some basic policy. It had that extra big payout for accidental death and dismemberment. That safety net for the completely unexpected. Now, look at how straightforward this all seems. Selena falls in a parking lot, breaks her leg, she has to have surgery to fix it, but then, tragically, less than a week later, she passes away. The official cause of death was a pulmonary embolism. That's a blood clot that gets to your lungs. And here's the key part. It's a known direct risk of exactly this kind of injury and the surgery that follows. It seems like a perfectly clear line from the accident to the tragic outcome. Or so you would think. So her daughter, Brittany Finney, she files the claims. MetLife, the insurer, they paid out the standard life insurance benefit. No problem. But then, the shocker, they flat out denied the accidental death payout. Brittany, of course, sued them. I mean, her argument was simple. A fall in a parking lot is an accident. But MetLife's response was even simpler. Read the fine print. So how in the world could MetLife argue this wasn't an accident? Well, their entire case didn't deny the fall ever happened. No, it all hinged on this one tiny but absolutely devastating piece of language buried deep, deep in the policy. Okay, this right here, this is the whole game. It's something called a physical illness exclusion. See, MetLife's argument wasn't that the fall didn't happen. Their whole point was that the fall wasn't the only thing that led to her death. They claimed something else was in the mix. And what was that something else? Well, Selena Anderson had a pre-existing condition, severe interstitial lung disease. It was something she was living with. But during the autopsy, the medical examiner noted that even though the blood clot was the thing that caused her death, her lung disease was a factor that contributed to her death. And this phrase, these few words you see on the screen, this was the key to the vault for the insurance company. This exact wording was sitting right there in the policy's exclusion clause. It didn't matter that the fall started everything. It didn't matter that if she hadn't fallen, she would have been fine. All that mattered, legally, was that her illness played any part at all. So let's just walk through their chain of logic because it's crucial. The fall causes the blood clot. Her pre-existing lung disease made her body less able to handle that trauma. Therefore, the illness contributed to the death. And because of that single phrase, the accidental death claim was denied. That pre-existing condition completely broke that clean line of cause and effect from the accident. Now, her daughter fought this. She fought it all the way through the federal court system. But as you can see, both the district court and later the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, they sided with MetLife. The courts basically said that because the policy's language was clear and because the autopsy report used that magic word, contributed, the insurance company's decision was legally sound. It wasn't arbitrary or capricious. Okay, so this is way more than just one family's tragic story. The ruling in this case, Finney v. MetLife, it sets a major precedent, and it serves as a huge flashing warning sign for every single person out there with an accidental death policy. Here is the absolute bottom line. That extra coverage you might be paying for every month, that accidental death and dismemberment policy, it is so much more delicate than its name makes it sound. If you have any kind of pre-existing condition, we're talking diabetes, heart disease, lung issues, you name it, your policy might have a built-in escape hatch for the insurer. This is the pattern you really need to get. An accident happens, a fall, a car crash, whatever. Your body, maybe already weakened by an existing illness, has a harder time recovering. If that illness is seen as contributing to the final outcome, the insurer can, and they probably will, deny the accidental death claim, just like they did in Selena's case. So what can you actually do? You have to become an expert on your own policy. Seriously, don't just assume you're covered. You need to pull out that document or log in online and look for these specific things. Search for a physical illness exclusion. Look for that exact phrase, contributed to, or any similar wording that connects accidents with pre-existing conditions. Knowing what's in there is your only real defense. Ultimately, this whole thing boils down to one simple and pretty unsettling question. After hearing Selena's story and knowing what could be hiding in the fine print of your own policy, are you absolutely positive your family is truly covered for an accident? Thanks for watching. If this helped you understand the fine print, hit subscribe. Stay safe and read your contracts.